18 doctors stood around the hospital bed, and none of them spoke. Machines hummed softly. The heart monitor stuttered, then steadied, then dipped again. The Mafia boss watched from the corner of the room, fists clenched, jaw locked. He had paid for the best. Flew in specialists from 3 countries, bought time with money most people would never see in a lifetime. And still, his baby was dying. A doctor finally broke the silence. "We've done everything we can." That's when the door creaked open. A small voice whispered from the hallway, barely audible. "Mister, can I try something?" Everyone turned. A poor little girl stood there, barefoot, clothes too thin for the cold hospital air. No badge, no family, no reason to be there. A nurse moved to stop her, but the Mafia boss raised his hand. Something in the girl's eyes wasn't fear, it was certainty. She stepped closer to the bed, looked at the baby, and reached into her pocket. And in that moment, the most powerful man in the city realized whatever she was about to do. No doctor in that room had even thought of it. Stay with me until the end, because what this little girl does next will leave the doctors speechless and change that baby's fate forever. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and comment where you're watching from. Now, let's get into it. Vincent Torino had never felt helpless in his life. He'd built an empire from nothing, commanded respect through fear, and made decisions that shaped entire neighborhoods. Men twice his size stepped aside when he walked down the street. Politicians returned his calls before their wives. But standing in that sterile hospital room, watching his 3-month-old daughter Sophia struggle for every breath, he was just another desperate father. The machines surrounding her tiny bed cost more than most people's homes. Each specialist he'd flown in commanded fees that could buy luxury cars. Dr. Harrison from Johns Hopkins, Dr. Chen from Tokyo's finest children's hospital, Dr. Kozlov from Moscow's premier medical institute. 18 of the world's most brilliant minds, and they were stumped. The baby had been fine 3 days ago, healthy, perfect. Then the fever started. Within hours, she'd turned pale, her breathing shallow and rapid. The rash appeared next, spreading across her delicate skin like spilled wine on white silk. By the time they'd rushed her to the hospital, she was barely conscious. Test after test came back negative. Blood work showed nothing unusual. X-rays revealed no abnormalities. The MRI scans were clean. Every possible diagnosis led to a dead end. Meningitis, sepsis, viral infection, bacterial contamination, genetic disorders, autoimmune conditions. They'd ruled out everything, yet Sophia continued to fade. Vincent had offered millions for answers. He'd threatened, he'd pleaded, he'd called in every favor he was owed. Nothing worked. Money, for the first time in his adult life, was useless. The girl who appeared in that doorway looked maybe 8 years old. Her dark hair hung in tangled strands around a face that seemed too serious for her age. The oversized sweater she wore had holes in the sleeves. Her sneakers were held together with duct tape. She clutched something small in her right hand. Security should have stopped her. The hospital had been locked down since Vincent arrived. No visitors, no press, no one without explicit permission. Yet somehow this child had wandered through multiple checkpoints and found her way to the most secure floor in the building. Dr. Harrison stepped forward, his voice sharp with authority. "Young lady, you cannot be here. This is a restricted area. We're dealing with a very sick child." The girl didn't move. She looked past the doctor, past the machines, past all the expensive equipment, and focused entirely on baby Sophia. "I know what's wrong with her," she said quietly. Vincent felt something shift in his chest. Not hope exactly. He'd burned through hope hours ago, but curiosity. This child spoke with a confidence that none of the medical experts had shown. Dr. Chen shook her head dismissively. "Sweetheart, these are very complicated medical issues. Adults who've studied for decades are working on this problem. You need to let the grown-ups handle this." But the girl's eyes never left Sophia's face. "She's been poisoned," she said simply. The room fell silent. Vincent's blood turned cold. Poisoned. He'd made enemies over the years. men who'd smile to his face while planning his destruction. He'd always been careful, always protected, but a baby, his baby. Dr. Kozlov laughed, but it sounded forced. Child, we've run every toxicology screen available. There are no signs of poisoning, no traces of any harmful substances in her system. The girl finally looked up at the adults surrounding her. You're looking for the wrong kind of poison, she said. Vincent found his voice. What do you mean? She held up the object in her hand. It was a small glass vial filled with clear liquid. My mama used to clean houses for rich people before she got sick. One time she cleaned a house where the baby got real sick, just like this one. Turned out the fancy soap they used for washing the baby's clothes had something in it that made babies sick. The doctors couldn't figure it out either because they kept looking inside the baby instead of looking at what was touching the baby. Dr. Harrison's expression shifted from annoyance to intrigue. What exactly are you suggesting? The girl approached Sophia's bed slowly. Everyone in the room tensed, but Vincent held up his hand again. Let her talk, he commanded. She pointed to the soft pink blanket wrapped around Sophia. This blanket smells funny, she said. Not bad funny, just different. Like the soap my mama used to clean with. The kind that makes your skin feel tight after you touch it. Vincent leaned closer to his daughter. He'd been so focused on the machines and the medical discussions that he hadn't paid attention to something as simple as smell. But now, breathing in near Sophia's blanket, he caught it. A faint chemical scent, almost floral but with an underlying harshness. Dr. Chen frowned. Even if there were chemical residues on the blanket, infant skin is sensitive but not typically to the point of systemic illness. The girl shook her head. Not just the blanket. She pointed to Sophia's tiny hands. Look at her fingers. Really look. Vincent examined his daughter's hands under the harsh hospital lights. There, barely visible on her small palms and fingertips, were tiny red marks. Not a rash, more like burn marks. So small they could easily be missed. The girl continued. Babies put everything in their mouths. If someone washed all her things with the wrong soap, and she's been sucking on her hands and touching her face, she's been getting little bits of poison all day, every day. A chill ran down Vincent's spine. He thought about Sophia's nursery, recently redecorated by the most expensive interior design firm in the city. Everything had been washed and prepared with premium products. The finest linens, the softest fabrics, all treated with specialized cleaning solutions. Dr. Harrison pulled out his phone. We need to test everything that's been in contact with the infant immediately. Blankets, clothing, bedding, toys, everything. But Vincent was already moving. He grabbed his phone and dialed his head of security. Tony, I need you to get to the house right now. Collect every cleaning product that was used in Sophia's nursery. Every soap, every detergent, every fabric softener. Bring them to the hospital immediately. The girl watched this exchange with the same serious expression she'd worn since entering the room. In her small hand, the vial of clear liquid caught the fluorescent lights. Dr. Kozlov noticed it too. What's in the bottle, child? She held it up so everyone could see. Salt water, she said. My mama taught me that if someone gets poisoned by soap or cleaning stuff, sometimes salt water can help wash it out of their mouth and off their skin. She said the old ladies in our neighborhood used to do it when the fancy cleaning products first came around, and people didn't know they could be dangerous. 18 doctors with degrees from the world's most prestigious universities stood in stunned silence as an 8-year-old girl explained a solution they hadn't considered. Not because it was medically complex, but because it was beautifully, devastatingly simple. And as Vincent looked at his dying daughter, then at this mysterious child who'd appeared from nowhere with answers that could save Sophia's life, he realized something that would haunt him forever. Sometimes the most important knowledge doesn't come from textbooks or laboratories. Sometimes it comes from the people society overlooks completely. Vincent's security team burst through the hospital doors 30 minutes later, arms loaded with bottles and containers, cleaning solutions, fabric softeners, baby detergents, specialty soaps. products that cost more per bottle than most families spent on groceries in a month. Dr. Harrison began examining the labels while Dr. Chen prepared testing equipment. But the little girl was already moving. She approached Sophia's bed with the confidence of someone who'd seen this before. "Can I wash her hands?" she asked Vincent directly. He nodded without hesitation. Every instinct told him to trust this child who'd materialized from nowhere with impossible answers. Gently, she began cleaning Sophia's tiny fingers with the salt water solution. The baby stirred slightly, the first movement she'd made in hours. As the girl worked, she spoke quietly to Vincent. "My name's Maria. My mama died 2 months ago. Liver got sick from all the cleaning chemicals she breathed in working for rich folks. She cleaned houses for 20 years, made them spotless, made them smell like flowers. But those chemicals, they built up inside her until they killed her." Vincent felt his throat tighten. This child was an orphan living on the streets, yet she'd risked everything to help his daughter. Maria continued washing Sophia's hands and face. "Before Mama died, she told me about all the babies she'd seen get sick like this. Rich families would hire fancy companies to clean everything perfect for their new babies. But those companies used chemicals so strong, they'd burn through skin if you touched them long enough. The babies would get sick, and the doctors would never think to check the cleaning products because they looked so expensive and professional." Dr. Kozlov was running tests on the cleaning solutions now, his face growing more concerned with each result. "These chemical concentrations," he muttered. "They're far beyond safe levels for infant exposure." Maria looked up at Vincent. "Your baby's been sleeping in sheets washed with poison, wearing clothes soaked in poison, wrapped in blankets that smell pretty but burn skin. Every time she touched anything, every time she put her hands near her mouth, she was getting more poison inside her." Sophia's color was already improving. The angry red marks on her hands were fading as Maria continued the gentle salt water treatment. The heart monitor's erratic beeping began to steady, but Vincent's mind was racing beyond his daughter's recovery. Someone had done this intentionally. The interior design company, the cleaning service, someone in his organization. This wasn't an accident. He pulled out his phone again. "Tony, I need background checks on everyone who worked on Sophia's nursery. Everyone. The designers, the cleaners, their suppliers, their families. I want to know who they've talked to, who they owe money to, who might want to hurt me through my child." The doctors were gathering around Sophia now, amazement replacing their earlier skepticism. Her breathing was deeper, more regular. The pallor was leaving her face. The mysterious rash was beginning to fade. Dr. Harrison shook his head in disbelief. "In 30 years of pediatric medicine, I've never seen anything like this. We were looking for exotic diseases, rare genetic conditions, complex viral infections. But it was something as simple as industrial cleaning chemicals." Maria finished washing Sophia's hands and stepped back. "She needs new clothes," she told Vincent. "New blankets. Everything that touched those chemicals needs to go away, and you should probably move her to a different room, one that wasn't cleaned with the same stuff." Vincent was already giving orders. His men moved quickly, stripping the hospital room of anything that might have been contaminated. Within an hour, Sophia was in a completely different wing of the hospital, surrounded by fresh linens and clothing that had never touched the toxic cleaning solutions. As Sophia's condition continued to improve, Vincent found himself studying Maria more carefully. This wasn't just street smarts or lucky intuition. This child had knowledge that came from watching, learning, remembering. She'd absorbed lessons from her mother's tragic experience and turned them into wisdom that could save lives. The investigation into who had orchestrated the poisoning would come later. Right now, Vincent had a more immediate concern. This little girl who'd saved his daughter's life was homeless, parentless, surviving on the streets with nothing but the clothes on her back. "Maria," he said quietly, sitting down so he could look her in the eyes. "You saved Sophia's life. You did what 18 of the world's best doctors couldn't do. How can I repay you?" She shrugged, suddenly looking every bit the 8-year-old child she was. "I don't need anything, mister. I just couldn't watch a baby die when I knew how to help." Vincent felt something crack inside his chest. This child had lost everything, yet her first instinct was to help others. She possessed a kind of moral clarity that his world rarely allowed for. But Vincent Torino didn't become one of the most powerful men in the city by leaving debts unpaid, and he owed Maria everything. The offer he was about to make would change both their lives forever. But first, he needed to understand exactly how deep this conspiracy against his family went. Because someone had tried to murder his baby daughter, and they'd almost succeeded. The hunt for answers was just beginning, and Maria, the little girl who'd appeared from nowhere with impossible knowledge, was about to discover that saving a mafia boss's child came with consequences she never could have imagined. "I have imagined." Dr. Harrison stepped closer to Vincent, his voice dropping to a whisper. "Mr. Torino, we need to discuss the implications of what just happened. If this was intentional poisoning, your daughter isn't safe here. Whoever did this knows she survived. They might try again." Vincent's jaw tightened. He'd been thinking the same thing. Hospital security was good, but not good enough for someone determined to finish what they'd started. The cleaning chemical attack had been sophisticated, subtle, designed to look like a medical mystery. His enemies weren't amateurs. Maria was sitting quietly in the corner, watching Sophia sleep peacefully for the first time in days. The little girl's presence had transformed everything, but Vincent realized she might be in danger too. Witnesses had a way of disappearing in his world. Tony appeared in the doorway, his face grim. "Boss, we found something. The cleaning company that did the nursery, they got a last-minute contract change. Someone paid them triple to use specific products that don't exist in their normal inventory." Vincent felt his blood pressure spike. Who authorized the change? That's the problem. The order came through legitimate channels. Someone inside your organization set this up. Someone with access to your home security, your staff schedules, your baby's routine. The betrayal cut deeper than any physical wound could have. Vincent had built his empire on loyalty, on the understanding that family was sacred. Someone close to him had violated the most fundamental rule. Maria looked up from her chair. "Mister, the bad people who hurt your baby, they're gonna know she's getting better now. Hospitals talk. People see things. If they tried once, they might try again." Her words hit Vincent like ice water. This child understood the danger better than most adults would. She'd grown up in a world where survival meant thinking 3 steps ahead, where trust was a luxury that could get you killed. Dr. Chen approached Sophia's bed, checking the monitors one final time. Her vital signs are completely normal now. Medically speaking, she could be discharged tomorrow. But given the circumstances, I'd recommend keeping her here under observation for at least another week. Vincent shook his head. "She's not staying here. Too many people, too many access points. We're moving her somewhere secure." "Where exactly do you plan to take a recovering infant?" Dr. Harrison asked. "She still needs medical monitoring, proper equipment." Vincent was already formulating a plan. His compound outside the city had been designed as a fortress. Medical equipment could be moved there. Trusted doctors could be brought in. Sophia would be protected by men who die before letting harm come to her. But as he looked at Maria, another problem presented itself. This little girl had saved his daughter's life, but she'd also seen too much. She knew about the poisoning, about the investigation, about Vincent's world. In his business, loose ends were eliminated, yet everything inside him rebelled against the idea of harming this child. She was innocent, brave, selfless in a way that shamed him. She represented everything good that his daughter might grow up to be. Maria seemed to sense his internal struggle. She stood up slowly, her small frame dwarfed by the adults surrounding her. "I should probably go now," she said quietly. "I'm glad your baby's okay." Vincent's voice stopped her at the door. "Where will you go?" She shrugged with the practiced indifference of someone who'd learned not to expect much from life. "Same place I always go." wherever nobody looks for me. The casual acceptance of homelessness, of abandonment, of a life spent hiding in shadows, broke something inside Vincent. This child had given him the most precious gift imaginable, his daughter's life, and she was walking back into darkness with nothing. "Wait," he said. Maria turned back, her eyes wary now. She'd learned to be suspicious of adults who promised things. Vincent made a decision that would change everything. "You're coming with us." Dr. Harrison looked alarmed. "Mr. Torino, with all due respect, this child isn't your responsibility. There are proper channels, social services, foster care systems." Vincent's voice turned dangerous. "This child saved my daughter when your systems failed. She's under my protection now." But Maria was shaking her head. "I can't go with you, mister. People like me don't belong in places like yours. I'll just mess things up." Vincent knelt down to her eye level, his voice gentler than it had been in years. "Maria, someone tried to kill my baby. They might try again. But more than that, they might come after you because you figured out what they did. You're not safe on the streets anymore." Fear flickered across her young face. She'd been so focused on helping Sophia that she hadn't considered the personal consequences of her actions. Tony stepped forward. "Boss, the cleaning company employees are asking questions. Word's getting out that someone solved the mystery the doctors couldn't. If the wrong people hear about a street kid who outsmarted their assassination attempt." He didn't need to finish the sentence. Vincent understood. Maria's act of heroism had painted a target on her back. Vincent stood up, his decision made. "Pack up everything. We're leaving in an hour. Sophia goes to the compound. Maria comes with us. I want round-the-clock security on both of them." Dr. Chen protested. "Moving an infant this soon after a medical crisis is extremely risky. She needs specialized care." "Then you're coming too," Vincent told her. "You and whatever medical team Sophia needs. Name your price." The doctor's eyes widened. "Mr. Torino, I have other patients, responsibilities at the hospital." Vincent's expression hardened. "Dr. Chen, someone just tried to murder a 3-month-old baby using industrial chemicals. They planned it for months, infiltrated my security, corrupted my staff. This isn't over. Your choice is simple. Help me protect Sophia, or explain to your medical board why you refused to treat a patient whose life was threatened." The moral weight of his words settled over the room. Dr. Chen looked at Sophia, sleeping peacefully in her mother's arms, then at Maria, small and frightened, but trying to hide it. "All right," she said finally. "I'll arrange for a mobile medical unit, but I'm bringing my own security clearance team. If we're doing this, we're doing it right." Vincent nodded. "Whatever you need." As the adults made arrangements, Maria approached Sophia's bed one last time. She reached out tentatively, touching the baby's tiny hand with one finger. Sophia's eyes fluttered open, focusing with surprising clarity on Maria's face. For a moment, the two children looked at each other across an impossible divide of circumstance and privilege. Then Sophia smiled, her first real smile since the poisoning began. Maria smiled back, tears streaming down her face. "You're gonna be okay now, little princess. You're gonna have everything I never did." Vincent watched this exchange with growing certainty. He'd made enemies by building his empire, but he'd also gained the power to protect the innocent. Maria had saved his daughter. Now it was his turn to save her. The compound would be their sanctuary. But first, they had to get there alive. And Vincent had a growing suspicion that the person who'd orchestrated Sophia's poisoning wouldn't give up easily. The war for his family's survival was just beginning. But this time, he had an ally no one would expect. A homeless little girl whose mother had taught her secrets that could expose any enemy's plans. What Vincent didn't know yet was that Maria's knowledge went far deeper than cleaning chemicals. She'd spent years watching the wealthy from the shadows, learning their habits, their weaknesses, their secrets. And the person who'd tried to kill Sophia had made one critical mistake. They'd underestimated what a forgotten child could see, remember, and use against them. Them. The convoy left the hospital under cover of darkness. 3 black SUVs with bulletproof glass, followed by an ambulance equipped with every piece of medical equipment Sophia might need. Vincent sat in the middle vehicle, holding his daughter while Maria pressed herself against the window, watching the city lights blur past. She'd never been in a car this expensive. The leather seats were softer than any bed she'd ever slept in. Climate control kept the temperature perfect, but her eyes kept darting to the armed men in the front seats, to the radio chatter she couldn't quite understand, to the reality of what her life had just become. Vincent noticed her tension. "You're safe, Maria. These men work for me. They protect people I care about." She nodded but didn't relax. In her world, adults who promised protection usually wanted something in return, and she was still trying to figure out what Vincent Torino might want from an 8-year-old nobody. The compound appeared after 40 minutes of winding mountain roads. Massive gates opened automatically as their convoy approached. Floodlights illuminated manicured grounds that stretched beyond what Maria could see. The main house looked like something from a fairy tale, all stone and glass and impossibility. "This is where you live?" she whispered. Vincent looked at his home through her eyes and felt an unexpected stab of discomfort. "Yes, but it's going to be where you live too, for as long as you want." Maria didn't respond. She was calculating exit routes, memorizing the layout, cataloging potential hiding spots. Survival instincts didn't disappear just because someone offered you luxury. Dr. Chen had arrived ahead of them, supervising the installation of a complete medical suite in what had once been Vincent's office. Monitors, IV equipment, oxygen tanks, everything necessary to treat a critical infant. The transformation was remarkable and slightly terrifying. Sophia was settled into her new environment within an hour. Her color remained good, her breathing steady. The salt water treatment had worked better than anyone had dared hope, but Vincent wasn't taking chances. Round-the-clock medical monitoring, armed security at every entrance, background checks on every staff member. Maria wandered through the house like a ghost, touching nothing, disturbing nothing, absorbing everything. The paintings on the walls cost more than most people made in a decade. The furniture was museum quality. Even the door handles were crafted from precious metals. She found herself in the kitchen, staring at a refrigerator larger than the entire room where she'd lived with her mother. A housekeeper named Mrs. Castellano was preparing something that smelled incredible. "Are you hungry, sweetheart?" the older woman asked kindly. Maria's stomach answered before she could. She'd eaten nothing but scraps for days, surviving on whatever she could find or steal. But accepting food felt like admitting she belonged here, and she wasn't ready for that. Mrs. Castellano seemed to understand. She placed a plate of warm bread and soup on the counter, then busied herself with other tasks. No pressure, no expectation, just food available when Maria was ready. Vincent found her there 20 minutes later, the plate empty, her small frame finally relaxing slightly. He sat down across from her at the kitchen island, this powerful man making himself smaller in the presence of a frightened child. "Maria," he said carefully, "I need to ask you some questions about what you saw at the hospital, about how you knew what was wrong with Sophia." She stiffened immediately. Her street instincts screamed danger. Adults who asked questions usually followed up with demands, threats, consequences for wrong answers. But Vincent's voice remained gentle. "I'm not trying to trap you. I need to understand because the people who hurt Sophia are still out there, and you might be the only person who can help me find them." Maria studied his face, looking for the lies she'd learned to expect from adults. Instead, she saw something she didn't recognize at first: genuine respect. This man, who commanded fear from grown men, was treating her like an equal. "My mama cleaned houses for rich people," she began slowly. She learned things about them, things they didn't think anyone noticed. Vincent leaned forward slightly. "What kind of things?" Maria's voice grew stronger as she spoke. "Rich people think poor people are invisible, like we don't have eyes or ears or brains. So they do stuff and say stuff right in front of us, like we're furniture. She paused, remembering. Mama used to come home and tell me stories about the families she worked for. Their secrets, their problems, their enemies. She said rich people's houses were like books, if you knew how to read them. Vincent felt a chill of recognition. This child had been raised in a world of observation, of survival through intelligence gathering. She'd learned to see patterns that others missed because her life depended on it. "What did you see in Sophia's room?" he asked. "Everything was too perfect," Maria said, like someone was trying really hard to make it look expensive and safe. "But Mama taught me that when rich people try too hard to show off, they're usually hiding something." She stood up and began pacing, her young mind organizing thoughts that had been forming since she'd first entered the hospital. The cleaning smell was wrong. Not bad, just wrong. Like someone who didn't know about babies tried to make baby things clean. Vincent's blood chilled. Someone who didn't know about babies, an outsider, someone playing a role, Maria continued. And the blankets and clothes, they all smelled the same, like they came from the same place, got washed the same way. But babies need different things washed different ways. Someone who really cared about a baby would know that. The implications hit Vincent like a physical blow. The poisoning hadn't been random or opportunistic. It had been planned by someone who understood his security but didn't understand children. Someone close enough to access his home but distant enough to make critical mistakes. "Maria," Vincent said urgently, "when your mother cleaned for rich families, did she ever mention anyone specific? Anyone who might have known about my family?" The little girl's eyes sharpened. She'd been waiting for this question. "Mama cleaned for lots of people, but there was one man. She said he was your business partner. He used to get really angry when she was there, yelling on the phone about how you got everything and he got nothing." Vincent's vision narrowed. Marcus, his former partner, his oldest friend, his daughter's godfather, the man he'd trusted with everything until ambition had poisoned their relationship beyond repair. "What else did your mother say about him?" Maria's voice dropped to a whisper. "She said he asked her questions about your house, about your family, about when the baby was born. She thought he was just being nice, but she told me later it felt weird, like he was studying instead of caring." The pieces fell into place with terrible clarity. Marcus had used Maria's mother as an unwitting spy, gathering intelligence about Vincent's home, his routines, his vulnerabilities. When the time was right, he'd orchestrated the perfect murder, a baby's death that would look like medical mystery, destroying Vincent emotionally while eliminating the next generation of his empire. But he'd made one crucial error. He'd underestimated the knowledge possessed by the people he considered invisible. Vincent pulled out his phone, but Maria's small hand stopped him. "Wait," she said. "If you go after him now, he'll know someone figured it out. He might run, or try to hurt other people." Sometimes the most profound wisdom comes from the most unexpected places. Maria, a homeless 8-year-old, saved a Mafia boss's daughter when 18 world-renowned doctors couldn't. Her mother's tragic knowledge of cleaning chemicals became the key to solving a mystery that medical science missed. Vincent Torino learned that true power isn't about money or intimidation. It's about recognizing wisdom wherever it appears. And Maria discovered that sometimes helping others is the first step toward finding your own family. The most invisible people often see what everyone else misses.